Residents in Johannesburg and Tshwane have been hit by serious water shortages. High demand, load shedding, and power outages have been cited as reasons for the shortages. Several reservoirs in the capital remain critically low, affecting most residents in the eastern and northern suburbs. While parts of Johannesburg have had intermittent supply, there has now been a reduction of supply to several pump stations after a power outage at Randburg's Eikenhof pump station on this morning. In fact, tens of thousands of residents in Gauteng are without water. Let's speak to Tshwane's MMC for Utility Services, that's Daryl Johnson, and the spokesperson for Joburg Water, Puleng Mopeli. Ms. Mopeli, let me start with you. How many people in Johannesburg are affected? I mean, if you look at the suburbs, it's an extensive list: Randburg, Southdale, Soweto, Roodepoort, and many, many more.
Thank you, Francis. There's a large area that is affected by this water outages, but then at the present moment, we are just having they're critically low, our reservoirs, and the residents are just having low pressure at the moment, and it's not completely out a shutdown, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you that at the SABC we are out of water. I'm not sure if that's linked to something else. But are we talking firstly, even if it's a trickle in the taps, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people?
Let's say tens of thousands, because when we look at our systems, we have a number of systems, about 11 systems that are affected at the moment. This includes your Crosby, Brixton and Hestill reservoirs. We have Johannesburg, Linden, Florida, Constantia, Helden Crane, Randburg, as well as Crown Garden. So some parts of the south of Johannesburg are also affected.
All right, so you are saying categorically everybody should have something in the tap. Nobody should be completely cut off right now.
Yes, at present we are pumping, so people are having low pressure at the moment and not completely a shutdown.
All right, we'll find out what is happening here, and we will ask our viewers, please let us know if you are affected and what is actually happening. We'll come back to you. Daryl Johnson, what is happening in Tshwane? How many people affected there?
Afternoon. Yeah, also we've got tens of thousands of people that are affected by the water restrictions and limitations that we've got, and those span from Soshanguve through to Waterkloof, Monument Park, and then right out to the far east into Mooikloof and the hills area. So there's an extensive areas that are being affected by these water limitations that are being implemented by Rand Water. And so we are working as much as we can on our side to balance the systems. We are working with Rand Water to try and assist us by alleviating meters, and we give them other meters to restrict, just to try and balance it and give water as far as we possibly can. And then where we really can't, then we deploy water tankers to assist the communities.
And so you're saying this is entirely in the court of Rand Water. Do you understand why they cannot get, so they are the bulk suppliers, why they cannot get the water to the reservoirs?
Well, it certainly hasn't been made clear to us in any way what their issues are. They have indicated, as they did in a letter to the city manager on the 19th of January, that they were going to restrict flows to the city of Tshwane because we were exceeding the agreed percentage, and that's the explanation that's been given to us. But when we have a look at their systems that supply Tshwane, there's an eastern system and a western system respectively, and the reservoirs in those systems are looking precariously low. So the question is that are there other issues beyond this that are not being shared, and why are we sitting in this situation? Not 3 months ago we sat in a similar situation, and a little over a year ago we also experienced serious water issues because of power outages at pump stations, Randwater pump stations, and also load shedding. Load shedding is causing havoc on these systems that rely to a large degree on electricity to pump the water around the system.
Ms. Mapeli, what is your experience with Randwater now? Am I correct to say that this links to the Eikenhof pump station, affecting all these areas, and those are areas that would be supplied by Randwater?
Yes, Francis. This morning with Johannesburg Water, this morning the Eikenhof pump station experienced power failures from City Power. So you know that water and electricity are interlinked. And City Power managed to restore their transformers, one this morning and the other one was this afternoon at 3 p.m. So this has impacted on our reservoir levels. So this was entirely linked to a power failure at the Eikenhof pump station.
And to restore it, is that your responsibility or the responsibility of Randwater? We've had some claims against Randwater, so I want to know how you are working with them right now.
City Power is working with Randwater currently, and I believe that they have started pumping. So this means that our systems will take much, much longer for the whole area to be, or areas to be restored. But then we have alternative supply for sensitive customers, including the hospitals and those who are in high-lying areas, which are supplied by the towers. So we have made arrangements for those areas to be supplied, to have alternative supply.
Okay, so Randwater is the problem here, but you are involved in the solution. Is that correct?
Power supply is the problem, and when it affects Randwater, subsequently it will affect Johannesburg water systems as well.
And may I ask a simplistic question, perhaps, but is there no way to keep the pumps working when the power goes down? Alternative energy solutions. Has anything been looked at in the years and more than a decade that we've experienced power cuts?
Look, Francis, for our systems, especially when we're experiencing load shedding, we do have backup generators at our critical sites and those other reservoirs and towers. So in that aspect, as far as load shedding is concerned, we do have a solution. However, if a power failure affects Randwater, then it means that they cannot pump from our site to Johannesburg water systems. And that's why we find ourselves in this situation today.
Yeah, and it makes residents feel very helpless and stressed. Let me come back to you, MMC. So Randwater is saying this isn't because Tshwane is insolvent, and we know there's debt and an issue between Tshwane and Randwater. Can you clarify that that's not the issue here?
No, certainly. We in fact had a meeting on Wednesday together with the CEO, senior management at Randwater, together with the executive mayor and MMC Peter Sutton for finance. And we discussed that. There have been all sorts of crazy numbers of 1 billion and 1.2 billion rand thrown about, and that's absolutely not the fact. There is payments due to Randwater from the city of Tshwane, and we are working on making those payments, and commitments are made to Randwater, and Randwater is totally happy with what has been committed to them as far as that is concerned. And so there isn't an issue as far as that's concerned. The issue seems to be within the networks, and that's where the concern lies.
One of the most serious areas, before we finalise, Soshanguve apparently without water for weeks. What is Tshwane doing about it?
So the issue in Soshanguve is specifically Block L, which is a high-lying area. That block is dependent on a tower being filled with water from the reservoir, and the reservoir needs to be at a certain level before they are able to pump into the tower. And what we're finding is that due to excessive demands on the system, we're not getting the reservoir to a level in order to pump into the tower. And so because of the heat that we've been experiencing and so forth, and other factors in the network, we are not able to deal with the demand on that reservoir. So again, as far as we are able to, we provide water tankers to assist the communities where we know that there are issues, and so we try and assist until we are able to get that system back up. But until we are able to do so, we're not going to be able to fill that tower to provide the pressure in the high-lying area.
Ms. Mopeli, for the tens of thousands in the areas that we discussed earlier, when can they expect water to be restored?
Francis, at the moment it's difficult to say, as we are dependent on the pumping capacity from rainwater. At the moment, we're supposed to be pumping at 1.2, and we were requested that we pumping would be, I think, around 700, 800. So let's hope by today, during the course of the night, we will be pumping at full capacity, and we will be able to restore those strained systems.
All right, thank you very much. Daryl Johnson, Tshwane MMC for Utility Services, and Puleng Mopeli, a Joburg water spokesperson. And like I said, please use our WhatsApp line or hashtag #FullView and tell us what you are experiencing in your areas if you are affected by the water cuts. She said that there should be no outages right now.